Good afternoon, good evening, welcome everybody to the next race here on the Flashpoint Racing League calendar. 5 rounds into the season we are now, this being the Hungarian Grand Prix. What a great 4 races we've had already for the first 4 of the season. Some last lap darts to the line from everybody, some last lap position overtakes for the wins. It's going to be another fantastic race. So please, do get involved, everyone, in the comment section below. Feel free to put who you think will be the winner of this race in the comment section as well. And, of course, who we think will get pole position for qualifying coming up now. But I don't know about you guys, but I am really excited to see what we have ahead of us here in Hungary. Nobody coming out of the pitch yet here, as we can see, as qualifying has started. I believe some drivers are now starting to go out of the pits. And we will see, of course, who will get the fastest lap here the Hungaroring. So I believe it's an AlphaTauri out straight away. Yes, it is of NSX Spine. Let's have a look at himself. Obviously, going into this race now, let's not forget this, the wins really have been split by 2 men. That being, of course, Selly in the sister AlphaTauri and, of course, Limitless as well in the Red Bull. So the Red Bull cars seem to be having quite a lot of success in the opening races of the season. So it should be exciting to see what can be done in the meantime. So, of course, riding on board here with NSX Spike as he goes through into the second half of the lap. But let me tell you what you guys think in the comments down below. Who you think will be winner of this race? Just as we go around the lap now here with, of course, NSX Spine, let's take a look at the standings going into this race. So like I mentioned before, the races themselves have actually been split between 2 drivers going into this race. Of course, those drivers being Limitless and NSX Selly. Now, with that said, the gap at the top is minimal. It's only 78 points to 73, so 5 points makes all the difference in this championship. So it really does matter for the drivers to do as well as they can in this session here. So let's see now what we can do. Riding on with NSX Spine now, going through the final corner. Let's make sure we can get away into a good lap here. So let's start the lap now. Let's go on board with NSX Spine. Let's see what he can do. Flooring the throttle, of course, going down in towards turn 1. A very tight corner, much tighter than it was in the previous few games. He keeps it nice and close to the apex. When it's slightly wide, get that DRS open nice and early. Quite a hard traction zone on this game. It must be said, not a lot of traction zones are hard, but that is definitely one of them. Rides the curve on the outside, a little bit tentative going on the inside. Keeps it nice and wide, chucks it to this flat-out right-hander going up now towards turn 5. Now this corner, easily flat out a few games ago, not now. Break down a gear, try not to go too wide to invalidate your lap time, and this corner here, inside curve, could be so easy to spin the car, but he keeps it wide and clear from that. Going into this middle part of the lap now, into the chicane, a bit of a clumsy chicane, it must be said, but he does it quite well. Keeps it nice over the curves to minimise the distance, chucks it into this left-right section now. It must be said as well, these corners aren't the easiest to drive, especially in these cars, but this corner should be nice and easy for himself. Just a bit of a lift after what we saw it there. Still kept it in 6th gear, purple in the no sector, of course. Nobody else has actually set sector times yet, but going through now, it looks like it's going to be a nice, solid, decent lap from NSX Spine. Going into the second to last corner now, keeps it nice and tight. He likes to keep it there, doesn't want to run it wide and then go into his final corner. Which line does he take now? He does put a little wider line in and keeps it nice and tight. Will he run it out wide? Yes, he does. Open the DRS straight to the line, and what time is it going to be instantly? It's going to be a 15 flat from NSX Spine. Not a bad lap time at all for himself. We see the Haas coming over the line now as well. Let's see what lap time he can do. 15 flat as well, as his sister car of TL Stefano comes over the line now. He puts it in P3, a second behind at the moment. That's not where he's going to want to be, but at the moment it's Carl in the Haas in P1 with 15 flat. It looks like we're going to see times that are quicker than that. What about Limitless? Should we ride on board for a lap time with himself? Obviously, the championship leader trying to get out of the way of the McLaren that's going through with OP Dirk. Let's see what he can do. As his yellow flag in sector 1, I believe it was just one of the Hasses actually getting out of the way. But let's see now what OP Dirk can do going to the final corner. Keeps it nice and tight there as Lezag goes P3 in the Alfa Romeo. What can Dirk do as he goes across the line? It's a 15.4, and that's not a lap time that's going to put him towards the top. But CBI Jamie, 14.9, instantly into the 14s. Great lap time from himself. What else can we see now? Let's go on board with Limitless and see what lap time he can do in the Red Bull Championship leader. As we see the time starting to tumble now and going down through, we see Limitless. What lap time is he going to be able to do? Keeps it nice and tight to the inside, but it looks at the moment like the 14.9 of Jamie won't be challenged in that McLaren, but of course we still have drivers like Gatkowski, of course, is looking very good for qualifying, as we can see at the moment, as Limitless keeps it nice on top of that curb. It's a purple first sector for Limitless, so he's not laying any stone unturned at the moment. Let's see what he can do going into the middle part of this lap now. Chucks it over these curbs. You can see there it's very, very hard to use those curbs without actually spinning the car, so he decides to keep it that way. Running it out wide now. It looks like in this corner here we saw a slight lift, of course, from that of NSX Spine. It's the same, it must be said, for Limitless. Now, Limitless himself has said that he's not the best qualifier. We know his race pace is really where he finds his feet. So let's see what he can do in this qualifying session here, because let's not forget, overtaking is not the easiest. Enel Mango in the sister Red Bull goes P3 on a 15 flat. Times are very close at the moment, so we could see quite a lot of drivers in contention for pole position. Oh, it's Limitless! Almost loses it in the final corner, and that's going to lose him a lot of time, and it does. P6, a 15.3, that must have lost him almost half a second, so he could have definitely been on pole position for the time being, but that was a horrible mistake from Limitless. Not what he wants to see the championship leader. Some cracks in the armour of the championship leader there. Let's see what the other lap times coming through. As Williams coming across the line now, as he goes, NSX Cucumber in the Alpine, it should be said, goes at 14.6, instantly up to pole position. Great lap time for himself, and Williams goes to the line, P9 for Kingsman. That's a good lap time for himself, but yes, NSX Cucumber, great lap time, 14.6. What can you say about that, man? Great lap time from him. Gatkowski as well, P2. He can't actually beat that of Cucumber, so in the earliest part of this session, it's a great lap time from Cucumber, and it doesn't look like anybody can get anywhere near that, 0.3 of a second. Let's see if any other drivers are on a lap at the moment. Doesn't seem to be. Yes, actually, we have Igor on a lap time at the moment in the sister Mercedes-Benz of Gatkowski. Let's see what he can do. Going through the first sector, great views of that Mercedes-Benz. Of course, let's see if he uses the curb on the outside of the corner. Yes, he does. A lot of the drivers are deciding to use that curb to help the car turn in. Let's see what he can do now. Keeps it nice and tight. As we see, Carl once again puts it up to P2. Great lap time from himself in that Haas. Only a 10th behind that of NSX Cucumber. So a great lap time coming from him as a Red Bull goes into the pit lane. So it looks to me like Igor might be the next driver to go across the line who actually has a lap time going on the board. Let's see what he can do then. Let's go on board in this middle sector. How much does he lift off? Not actually as much as everybody else, but maybe it's lost him a little bit of time because he's carrying too much speed into that corner, so he scrubs off a little bit more. Let's see what he can do in this final sector though. Keeping it on board. Everything seems nice, seems composed. These are the most crucial corners for himself. What can he do going into the final corner now? A bit of a tank slapper on the exit there. It doesn't look like the lap that he wants, but he keeps it nice and tight. It's inside a slightly different line. Gunning it for the line now. Opens the DRS. Can he get somewhere near the top? It's a 15.1. P9 from Igor at the moment. Great lap time to put him into the top 10. And like I said, championship leader Limitless down in P10 at the moment, and NSX Cucumber in P1. So a great lap time from him. Must be said as well, Selly, of course, in the Alpha Tauri, P3. This is the race he's going to want to bounce back, of course, after what happened in Jeddah with Limitless taking the victory. P3 at the moment. Honestly, if I was himself, I'm sure he'd probably take that at the moment, seeing his championship rival stuck down in P10. So, what can we see from Selly? Of course, I think he might have made a mistake on this lap, or, with that said, actually I think this might be his in-lap. So, let's see if anybody else is on a lap at the moment. It doesn't seem to be so. Jamie is actually on an out-lap here. As we can see, Cucumber's still in the garage. So let's ride on board with Jamie as he starts his lap now. And let's see what he can do in the orange Papaya McLaren now. Going across the line to start his lap. Let's see what he can do. 14.9 was the lap time that he has at the moment. He drills it down towards turn 1. Let's see how many gears he goes down now. It looks like he's going to keep it in 4th. No, he can put it into 3rd gear actually. Running it wide now. Open the DRS early. Let's see what he can do. Good to see the traffic getting actually out of the way for him as well, as he goes through the long left-hander now of turn 2 into turn 3 and turn 4 as well at the top of the hill. It looks at the moment like he's on or thereabouts. He's up by 1/10 of a second. Purple first sector for Jamie, so this is a good lap from himself so far. Keeps it nice and tight to the apex there of turn 5. Great line through that corner. Let's see what he can do through the chicane. Will he chuck it over the curbs? No, he keeps a nice wide berth from them, just like all the drivers, not wanting to get on top of that curb at the moment. He gets a little bit of a tank slapper there though, through the second half of the lap. Will he invalidate? No, he doesn't. He keeps it on the track just there. It seemed to me like he went off the track, but the FIA being very lenient with the track limits here. What can he do going through the second sector? Yes, 1.4 tenths up. Great lap time so far. Doesn't look like it's purple in the middle sector though, but at the moment, if he keeps this lap time up, he will be there or thereabouts fighting for pole position. So what can Jamie do? 2 corners to go now. He's got a couple cars ahead of him, but they don't seem to be able to get in the way of him. Right into the final corner now. Let's see as he goes across the line, opens the DRS. He's gunning for the line. Will he get the provisional pole? No, he won't. but it's a 14.8. Great lap time from himself. Only 2/10, not that actually, less than 2/10 off of pole position. So great lap from Jamie. I'm sure he'll take that for the time being. Let's see who else is coming for a lap now. Enelar Mango in P6 at the moment. Limitless, of course, on an outlap as well, the championship leader. So we'll see what he can do as he's about to start his lap now, actually. So let's see what the championship leader can do. Going down now into turn 1. Just closes that DRS, chucks it into the first corner. It looks like he went a little bit wide there. It must be said, Limitless not looking as comfortable as the other drivers in qualifying yet again, as we've seen so many times in the first 4 races. But of course, in the races where he comes alive, he's going to want a good qualifying here though, because this is a track you cannot overtake easily at, as we have a yellow flag in Sector 1. I believe that's just the AlphaTauri getting out of the way of the Red Bull. But at the moment, Limitless not looking on the pace. Let's see what he can do in that number 3 Red Bull, the green helmet now, going into the middle sector, keeps a nice wide berth, like I was saying before, to those curves like all the drivers are doing. Let's see if he can get a better time. Realistically, let's not forget, he did lose a lot of time in that final corner, so he's got at least 2-3 tenths maybe to find there. Let's see what his middle sector split's saying. He's up by a tenth of a second, still not purple though, and it just doesn't seem to be coming together for Limitless. I mean, looking at that, he's almost 7 tenths off the pace. Realistically, he's going to want to try and get to the 7th or 8th position with this lap if he can keep it together, of course. Going into the final corner, though, this is where he lost all his time on his previous lap. So if he keeps it together here, he must get a massive improvement. Yes, he does. What can he do as it goes across the line now? 14.9, P6. Yeah, he just doesn't seem to have that pace. He doesn't seem to have the pace. Just like most weekends, Limitless, most of his pace comes in the race. But at the moment, in P6 for himself, and it doesn't seem to be where he wants to be at the moment. What about Cucumber then? He's just started his second lap. Let's see what he can do. He really rides that curb going into turn 2. He's one of the drivers really who wants to chuck this car in. He really throws the car about. Some drivers, like Limitless, don't really throw the car about. They're very smooth, but Cucumber himself, you'll see as he jumps on his curb here, chucks it in. He's very much violent with the car. But that means that he's actually up on his time. So, of course, that's working for himself, it must be said. Going to the middle sector now, let's see what line he takes going into the chicane. Again, a nice wide berth on the second curve. He really clumps over it. A different line to all the other drivers, but it seems to be really working for himself now. The car just seemed planted as he almost validates the track limits there, but he's absolutely on the limit. Great so far for himself, slightly off the throttle. Let's see what his lap time is here. Another 1/10 or almost 2 tenths up going through the middle sector. It looks to me like Cucumber has got this absolutely wrapped up, unless you see some good lap times from Gatkowski and the rest of the championship contenders. Going through now, Cucumber, can he keep it together in this last corner? And what line does he take? Keeps it nice and tight to the inside. Early on that throw, going it to the line, open the DRS. What lap time can Cucumber do going over the line now? It's a 14.5. It's almost 4/10 of a second quicker than anybody else in the lobby. It's a great lap time from him. As we have a yellow flag in sector 1, I believe for one of the McLarens actually. Is it Dirk? Yes, it is. What's happened to Dirk here? He's reset the track. Maybe he's had a bit of a problem, but he's stopping on the racing line. Hopefully he can get that McLaren out of the way, otherwise the session might have a problem. But no, I believe he's moving now. Should be absolutely fine in McLaren. Hopefully he doesn't get in the way of the Williams that's coming up behind him at the moment. Excuse me, the Alpine. No, he doesn't, thankfully. But the Alpine actually isn't on a lap. As Selly goes P2 in that time as well. Only 500ths of a second actually off Cucumber. So another great lap time from Selly in the AlphaTauri. Again, missed for myself, I do apologise. And Gatkowski as well, also with a 14.7 goes through. So at the moment, Cucumber and Selly seems to be the guys with the best lap times coming through. So as Carl goes across the line now, after setting another lap to go P3, it looks to me at the moment, as we did see that McLaren going slow of OP Dirk, he run out of fuel possibly. That could be what's happened now. I think he might have done, yeah, I think he might be out of fuel. He is. But yeah, at the moment, looks to me like NSX Cucumber, who goes into the pits now, could be odds-on favourite for pole position. We should see one more timed lap from everybody now as we go through. But hopefully, like I say, a lot of people should improve their lap times. So 500ths of a second now between Selly and Cucumber as everybody comes into the pits. Takes a little bit of time out to really kind of breathe and understand what these guys are doing with their lap times. At the moment, NSX Cucumber in the Alpine, really the one to beat. Just going through the comments now as well, of course, on the YouTube stream. A lot of people were saying that a GCAT will be very hard to beat, but at the moment he's only in P4, 2 tenths down. Don't get me wrong, of course, that is very, very much attainable for himself. Current driver is Kwiatkowski, must be said, in that Mercedes-Benz, the mighty Mercedes-Benz of the last 8 years in Formula 1. So let's see what Carl does. Carl starting his lap now in P3. This could be his most important lap so far of his season. Let's see what he can do now. The Haas going through it towards turn 1. This is it. Go for broke now for Carl. He wants to get pole position. This is going to be the moment to do it. Number 42 on the side of that Haas. Chucks it in nice close to the inside. This is going to be a great lap from him if he can keep it together. He's going to DRS it all the way up to this second corner now. Opens up that curve to open up the corner a little bit more. Nice and tight this inside. Runs it out wide. Let's see what his sector time can be going up the hill now towards the blind turn 4 corner. Let's see what his lap time is. He's up by 400 of a second. It's not purple in the first sector, but there is enough if he keeps doing that to get somewhere near about Selly's time and of course Cucumber's time. He needs to find 2 more tenths though in this middle sector. He doesn't seem to ride the curbs like Cucumber does. No, that's not really the way he likes to do it. But going through now into the middle sector, let's see what he can do. He keeps it nice and tight towards that. Runs it wide though, invalidates his lap time. And that for Carl is curtains in this session. He will not be on pole position in that Haas. It would have been a great lap time. He's still up on his time, but unfortunately for himself, invalidates the lap time, and that is it for him. Let's see what Selly's doing. He's on an outlap at the moment as well, as is Cucumber, only just coming out. Cucumber, I believe, will be one of the last to actually start start his lap. So, like I say, Carl unfortunately jumps into the pit lane now. He is not going to be able to complete his lap because it was invalidated. So let's see now. We have Lezard going through in towards turn 1. We have Limitless on his outlap as well. Lezard, he's going to be the first person to cross the line. Let's see what he can do as we go through now. Exit of turn 2, keeps it nice and tight towards the apex, but most drivers run it out wide to get the quickest outage from the corner up towards there now as Carl retires from the session in the pits. That's not what he wanted to see. Lezard though, 1.5 tenths up. This could be a good lap time for himself to get him around the top 10. So hopefully for his sake, that's a lap time that he will be able to see. Going towards the second sector now, keeps it nice and tight, jumps over those curbs similar to what Cucumber does in the Alpine. He jumps over those curbs, going through the final part of the twisty section. Now he keeps it in track limits, no problem for him there. There is a Red Bull ahead, hopefully that does get, Mercedes ahead, that hopefully does get out of the way. Yes, it does. Nicely done. Obviously still 1/10 up for himself. We'll just look at the traffic jam on the minimap now. Hopefully they get out of the way as the time that Lezard gets through, because look at them all there. They're all just waiting there, stopping on the track. Hopefully they get out of the way. Thankfully they do. But at the moment, it looks like Lezard will improve by about 0.2 of a second as it goes across the line now. What can he do in the Alfa Romeo? Yes, he improves by 0.1 of a second, but at the moment doesn't seem to be what he needs. Going through now. Let's see who else can open up a lap time. Jamie come across the line now to start his final lap as Lezard retires from the session on the track. I believe that is actually allowed, of course, here. So Lezard retires. Jamie across the line. He couldn't improve on his lap time. Who's going to be the next one across the line? Looks like it's going to be a Red Bull of Limitless. Yes, he's actually down on his time, so it doesn't look at the moment like Limitless is going to improve or go anywhere near the top 5 or so. What can he do as he goes across the line? He's actually down on his time, as we actually see one of the Alpines as well crash. The Williams crash of NLR Rudy on his lap. That's not going to get in the way of anybody. But let's see, there's the Mercedes comes across the line now. What can he do? Goes to P5. Great lap time for himself. We now see the Alpha Tauri go across the line. Selly, pole position at the moment. 1:14.4. Great lap time for himself. The McLaren goes across the line now. Can't quite beat it. Dirk into the top 9 though. Selly with a fantastic lap. What can Cucumber do to respond to this as it goes across the final 2 corners? Now we've got some drivers going across the line, but Cucumber seems to be the one who could actually take this away from anyone. Volcano goes P3. Great lap time from him. What can Cucumber do? Going across the line. He can't do it. He cannot improve and beat Selly's time. It's P2 from himself. He improves on his time, but only by 0.003 of a second. Selly, though, with a fantastic time. Kwiatkowski in the Mercedes, only P4, 2.5 tenths off the pace. But a great lap time from Selly to nick pole position away from NSX Cucumber right at the death, as all the drivers are now finished and all the drivers set their lap time. A great qualifying session here in Hungary, and it sets us up for a scintillating race. Incredible. So like I say, Selly on pole position. Great lap time from himself in that Alpha Tauri, riding on board with him now as the session is now over. So it will be Selly on pole position in the AlphaTauri, the championship contender, only 5 points behind Limitless coming into this race, and Limitless stuck down in P12. Really looking like damage limitation for Limitless in this race weekend here, because Selly on pole position looks like he must, unless something happens to him, take the championship lead going into this race. But it's been said before, anything can happen in league racing, and it usually does, so who knows. But it's Selly on pole position in the AlphaTauri, followed quickly by NSX Cucumber in the Alpine. Volcano with a quick lap time there at the end of the Aston Martin puts him into P3. Kei Gatkowski really wanted more from this session. A lot of drivers were saying that he's actually the favourite to get pole position in this session. Only P4 for himself. Let's see what he can do in the race. P5 for Carlos. Igor in 6th. 7th for Jamie in the McLaren, an early pace setter in that qualifying session. Then Marios in the Ferrari, first Ferrari in P8, Spine in P9, and Mango running out top 10. Dirk in 11th, Limitless in 12th position. Not really what he wants to see, is it, for himself? But like I say, Limitless, he's going to want more from the race. Lezad in P13, the Alfa Romeo. Rudy, who actually crashed out of qualifying in P14, and then rounding out the grid, Stefano, and the 2 other drivers after him as well. But here we are, going towards the grid now, of course. No formation lap. Nothing like that here in Flashpoint, because, of course, we don't have time for that. We need to get the racing going. The drivers load in now. They'll just be picking what tyres, what strategy. As it's a bit of a dark cloud in the distance. Hopefully, for the drivers' sake, there won't be any rain, but for us, let's hope that there is. But this is the moment now. This is the moment for the drivers. The nerves go up. Heart rate increases, and this is the moment now for the drivers waiting to start the race in Hungary. Like I say, Limitless leading the World Championship. I had a terrible qualifying. NSX Selly in P2 in the championship, but he's on pole position. He's going to want to use this race to his advantage. Let's see what happens as we just wait for the players now. Please, if you are watching, feel free to put in the comment section who you believe will win this race, because there's a lot of drivers at the front who do want to take that crown here in Hungary. Just waiting for the drivers now to fix up their strategies, fix up what they want to do for this race. 35 laps around the Budapest Hungaroring circuit. A great circuit to drive in qualifying, as we've all seen there from the laps that were being put in. Some drivers, of course, enjoying it more than others. At the moment, just waiting for them to get this race going. Hopefully we don't have any problems going towards the grid, because at the moment we do seem to be waiting quite a while. Of course, as soon as the race gets going, we will be there. We will be there to watch it. It's taking quite a lot of time for the drivers to ready up here. Hopefully get the race going as soon as possible for you guys. Obviously I know you guys want to watch it as much as I do. Great session so far that happened in qualifying, so let's hope. Here we go, as we go, and this is the moment now as a mind, machine and man become one, and the lights are ready to go out. And there we are, away in Hungary. Great start initially off the line from Selly, but it also looks as well like Cucumber got a great bite off the line. Let's see what he can do going towards turn one. But Selly with a fantastic launch in the AlphaTauri. But look at the Mercedes going down the inside of Gatkowski. Great from him down the inside now as the Alpine has a bit of contact with the Aston Martin, gets pushed out wide. Another Alpine now with Cucumber alongside that. Carl in the background as well, fighting amongst the Haas. But at the moment it's Selly into P1 and the Aston Martin goes up into P3. Jamie in the background as well, having a bit of a ding-dong there with the McLaren is in the background. One of the Red Bulls goes slightly wide, but Limitless as well, the championship leader keeping himself to himself. There's a bit of contact at the back. One of the Williams seems to have spun, doesn't seem to have hit the barrier though, as Selly goes in through the first sector in the lead. A bit of a yellow flag, doesn't seem to be like big of a crash at the moment, but at the moment it's settled down. Volcano in P3, Gatkowski, brilliant start for himself, up into P2, but Selly at the moment takes the lead as we go through into the second half of the lap for the first lap of this race. Championship leader Limitless in P7, great start for himself as well. This is something that he's going to want to keep up as he goes through the race. Like they say, great usual race pace from that of TRL Limitless. Let's see what he can do in that Red Bull. But at the moment it's Selly on the medium tyres leading away towards the end of the first lap. Now, great start for himself. Gatkowski maybe made a bit of a mistake there, because now the Aston Martin of Volcano is right on the back of him, Cucumber as well. And at the moment that train doesn't seem to be falling away from Selly. So let's see what he can do as it goes across the line. But it's Selly who leads after lap 1. followed by Gatkowski, Volcano, Cucumber, Carl, Jamie, Limitless in P7. Great start from himself from P12, so a great change from him. Mango, though, his teammate, seems to be on the warpath there, as there's a 5-second penalty for Mario speeding in the pit lane. That's not the start he wanted. Maybe he's got front wing damage as going to the pits. Yes, he does. Is getting the front wing changed, but at the moment it's Selly in P1. And that is not what Marius would have wanted, getting that 5-second time penalty. But Cucumber as well in P4 on the hard tyres. He's on a bit of an alternate strategy. He's going to be happy that he's held position also around there. Of course, Volcano and Gatkowski did actually get ahead, but Volcano got a position taken over by Gatkowski as well. So let's see what he can do going through the race. Selly doesn't seem to be pulling away too much from the guys behind him. So let's see what they can actually do now as we go through on lap 2. So at the moment, everything seems to be settling down, of course. Let's not forget, like I say, this is a very hard track to overtake. But Jamie, he wants a bit of Carl in front of him in the Haas. He seems to be really close to him. And the cars behind, Limitless and Mango, maybe there could be a little bit of team orders going through there. Because really, at the moment, it looks to me like Limitless just doesn't have the pace. Of course, we're only 2 laps in. That could all change in a couple laps' time. But like we said, Jamie as well, right on the back of Carl. Let's see what he can do in the McLaren. He's tucked up right behind him now in the slipstream. As Selly sets a fast lap, but then instantly beaten by Gatkowski in the Mercedes of 18.3. What can we see? Can Jamie get down the inside? Possibly. No, he doesn't seem to have the straight line speed. That's one of the problems that we find at this track. The drivers don't seem to get enough speed down the straight to make that move into turn 1. But at the moment, Selly with a fantastic start, the championship contender, winner of 2 races this season. Let's see what he can do for the rest of this season as well, because he's going to be in a titanic championship fight, of course, with Limitless and everybody else who wants to take that crown. Volcano as well, fantastic start from himself in the Aston Martin. Of course, put that qualifying lap in right towards the end, and it didn't really seem like he was going to get anywhere near the top, but he did it, and it was a great lap from himself. Coming through now as well, Kingsman on attack really from OP Dirk on the hards. Oh, there's a bit of contact. Yes, there was actually. I believe Kink, he had a bit of contact. Oh, he actually just lost the rear end there. Thankfully himself, he actually kept it off the track. That could have ended up bad. That could have ended up in a safety car. But at the front, like I say, it's Selly starting to pull away from Gatkowski now. Let's see what Volcano can do. And of course, Cucumber seems to be at the moment. Everyone's stuck in a little bit of a train. Of course, DRS was enabled this lap. So let's see if that helps any of the drivers to pull any overtakes. Driver who seems closest to do that at the moment would be Carl and Jamie. Jamie on the back of Carl at the moment. Let's see what happens. Will Jamie pull any closer? No, it seems to me like Carl actually has the better straight line speed in that Haas, even with both of them having DRS as well. He's just pulling away pulling away from Jamie in that Haas. He just doesn't seem to have it at the moment. So it looks to me as he's going to overtake towards the back is Kingsman. Yes, he is Kingsman getting through on Stelios. No, actually, maybe not. Maybe we have a switchback going on there with the Williams and the Alfa Romeo. Good racing it seems to be at the moment as he gets through on the inside. Good race from them, but at the moment looks like I say with Carl and Jamie and Limitless behind them as well. Mango in the sister Red Bull also really looking now to get ahead of his teammate. We've been riding on board with Limitless now. We can just see his teammate lurking in the background there. These are going to be the crucial corners for Limitless to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes going on through the main straight at the start-finish line and going to sector 3 now. Because at the moment, like I say, Limitless is just really not got a pace. Oh, as you see, actually Mango goes really wide there. Surely got a warning for that there, going through the start and final sector. Let's hope we have a yellow flag actually in sector 2. Is that Dirk again? I think it is, yeah. Dirk has actually had a bit of a spin, maybe a bit of contact with the wall. No safety car or virtual at the moment, because I believe he didn't actually make any contact. But yeah, it just seems so twitchy. Look at that, very twitchy there. Let's see what the rest of the drivers do going through now into towards turn 1. What about Volcano now? He looks to be right on the back of the Mercedes of Gatkowski. No, he can't quite get through. So he looks like status quo at the front of this race at the moment. Seems with Gatkowski getting that DRS from Selly up front, there's not really many overtakes that can be made. So it seems like everything is settling down at the moment. See what you guys think as Dirk retires from the session in the pit lane. He wants no more of it in that McLaren. A torrid hour or so for Dirk in the McLaren team. So I'm not so surprised to see that happen as he leaves the session. But Selly at the moment, it's NLR Rudy already gets a 3-second time penalty in that Williams and the hard tyres for track limits. It's not been a good race for him so far. Of course, crashing in qualifying, getting a 3-second time penalty only 5 laps into the race. Let's see if his race improves going through. Marios in the Ferrari really slowest of guys going through, but also one that will be said, the McLaren actually of Dirk has actually gone back out of the pit lane. Hopefully that doesn't cause any hassle. There's a yellow flag in sector 1 because of that. Let's see what Selly can do. Can he pull away? 6/10s clear at the moment, and I don't think with that gap that he's got behind him, they're going to be challenging him into turn 1. But one person I do think will be challenging will be Volcano going into Gatkowski into turn 1. Will he have enough straight line speed to give it a lunge down the inside? Doesn't look like he has. No, he hasn't at the moment. And looking behind as well, the Alpine keeps ahead of the Haas, who keeps ahead of the McLaren. Just not enough straight line speed to get through. Limitless as well, starting to slowly pull away from his teammate of Mango there. 7/10 or so, really keeping it inside there of the track limits as well, making sure he doesn't get any warnings or anything like that, because of course a race can very much be won on not getting penalties. But at the moment at the front it very much is status quo. Like I was saying, nobody really seems to be moving at the front. Realistically, we'd look to see some race tyre pit stops happening around lap 15 or so for the medium runners, maybe towards lap 20 actually. But please let me know in the comments, guys, what you think is going to happen in this race. As we see on board now with Gatkowski in that Mercedes, it just seems at the moment like we've got two races going on really. We've got that at the front, and then of course after the second sister Red Bull Spine and the AlphaTauri, kind of in a world of his own really, followed by the Haas of Stefano and the rest of the guys there. But it's good racing all round so far from everyone. Let's see now if Lezad can actually have a battle here with Igor in the Mercedes-Benz going through. As it looks at the moment at the front, no one's really going to be moving much. Doesn't seem to be like there's much going on actually at the front, as there's a bit of a tight squeeze at the front. Yes, there is. Gatkowski really pulling in on Selly. Doesn't quite get that through though. Will he be able to get a run on him going in towards turn 2? Doesn't seem like he will be. No, he doesn't. The car's behind, not quite able to do it either. Let's see. Behind, did Lezad get through? No, he didn't. Actually kept it behind the Mercedes, but at the moment, like I say, Gatkowski really pushing now to try and get close up to Selly. Let's see what he can do. Maybe Selly's used a lot of his energy going through. Let's see what energy people have now. Still 84% for Selly's phase. Brilliant at keeping his energy managed. And look at that though. Volcano with 100% energy left. Surely he wants to get rid of some of that juice, because that's just going to be slowing him down. That's absolute lap time just waiting on a plate there for him. So surely we're going to see them start to use this energy now and get some overtakes done. Hopefully for you guys and for my sake, we see some lap times going through. Because at the moment, not many happen, of course, at the Hungaroring, a very hard track to overtake. Or some people call it Monaco without the barriers, just due to how hard it is to overtake. Looks at the moment as well like Limitless is just about keeping touch with Jamie and P6. This is damage limitation for Limitless, it must be said. Let's see, as we see Gatkowski now, he really is going to be under attack from Volcano. Volcano, will he try and put it down the inside? No, as actually we see Gatkowski go a little bit defensive now. That's going to compromise his line going out of turn 1. And we see Volcano almost going side by side with the Mercedes, but no, he backs out of it. Doesn't want to get that overtake done. Maybe actually got a bit of wheel spin, but it looks at the moment like Gatkowski really under threat from Volcano in the Aston Martin. Similar powered cars, of course, with the Mercedes power units. But at the moment, it looks like Volcano really wants to get that Mercedes out of his way. Selly, though, still leads, cool, calm and collected in that AlphaTauri. Not looking at the moment for anybody to fuss up his afternoon as we go through towards the top end of the circuit now. Gatkowski really needs to have a look behind his back next lap around. It looks again like Volcano will try to get through on the inside if we get the sniff of anything. We get a 3-second time penalty for Stelios as well, once more in that Alfa Romeo down towards the back of the field. But at the moment, looks to me, Jamie, Limitless, Mango, they're just kind of waiting. They're waiting in the wings to really see what happens at the front. Behind them as well, doesn't seem like much battling is going on. Once again, Lezad right on the back of Eagle. Let's see if he can make a move going in towards turn 1. But let's go towards the leaders now. Is there going to be any overtakes happening? If anything, it looks to me like Volcano's actually had a bit of a bad lap, and he's going to be under threat from Cucumber, it seems, going towards turn 1. Will Cucumber have the straight line speed to go down the inside? No, he doesn't. Thinks better of it. But Volcano not really wanting to use a lot of his energy, and that's costing him a little bit with Cucumber. But of course, energy could be massive towards the end of the race. As we see Carl looking towards the inside of Cucumber. He doesn't want to wait around either, 94% energy. A lot of the drivers really just conserving their energy at the moment. It seems to be that Selly at the front and Gatkowski are the ones with the lowest energy and still got 60%, so it's not like they're missing out on much energy. But at the moment, Selly keeping the stall out, making sure no one overtakes him. Maybe we'll try and see some undercuts go on in this race. Hopefully that could spice things up a little, because at the moment it doesn't seem to me like we've got many overtakes going on. Many, as Kingsman, another 3-second time penalty for him. It's not looking good for the drivers in the bottom 4 of the table. The Williams having a torrid race weekend here, or race Wednesday should I say, here at the Hungary. Going through towards the final corner now, we see Gatkowski once again starting to close up towards Selly. Will Selly use some of his energy to try and get ahead, or stay ahead, sorry, should I say, of Gatkowski. Looks to me though like Gatkowski's actually just as close as he was a few laps ago. He is pulling in. He's kind of like close. As we see a Haas potentially going down the inside of the Alpine of Cucumber, but no, Carl thinks better of it. But look at the cars behind, ready to overtake. The Haas, the McLaren, and of course behind them the 2 Red Bulls of Limitless and Mango. But it looks to me as Stelly has to be a 5-second point speed in the pit lane. A terrible few laps for him. He's going to retire from the session right there, but at the moment it looks he's going to be struggling. Go through the end of the first sector now. The drivers just really sticking to their guns at the moment, not trying to make any silly moves. As we have a yellow flag in the first sector. Was that Stellar? Yes, it is. Retiring from the session. He goes back out onto the track though. Hopefully he stays in the pits, or goes back into the pit, should I say, in that Alfa Romeo once, of course, the AI are in control. But look at how bunched up the field is getting now, especially towards the front. Jamie really riding the coattails of the car now. You can really smell his gearbox oil going through towards the start of the third sector now. There's a yellow flag in the first sector for the Alfa Romeo, still waves. Hopefully that doesn't cause any problems for anyone, but at the moment it looks to me like Jamie is the driver who wants to be getting ahead of the driver ahead, but just look at the queue that is there behind Gatkowski. Just can't quite get past Selly, and because of that the queue behind is absolutely massive. Look at those cars going through. What can be done as the Haas now? We see Jamie going towards the inside, maybe trying to get a bit of clean air there, but he's not able to go down towards the inside. As we see an overtake actually potentially, yes it does, it was Igor. No, actually goes into the pits and retires in the session. So Eagles wants no more of this race as well. A lot of the drivers starting to retire from the session, not wanting to be a part of it much longer. But at the moment, Al in P5, really the one who seems to be under threat from Jamie in that McLaren, but he's just too quick in the wrong places, is Jamie. Carl is so quick in a straight line in that Haas, and because of that he can't overtake him in the straight line, the one overtaking opportunity. Realistically, Carl's got the right setup for the race, because he's got the straight line speed, which means he doesn't have to use much of his ERS. Looking at that 94%, and a lot of the drivers, to be fair, are in that same boat. But Cucumber as well, 57% ERS on the hard tyres. A great race so far from him, sticking it in P4. He's going to get on the softer tyres towards the end of the race and really have much more pace. Hopefully get some overtakes done on the rest of the drivers. No safety cars yet, no virtuals. And at the moment, it seems to really be a slow but steady race at the front. See all the cars there piling through once again, going back through the final corner towards turn 1 now. Can anybody get a move through? Selly goes a little bit defensive there, but it seems like he's got more than enough space. As you see, Limitless actually goes through on Jamie. Did Jamie make a mistake potentially in that McLaren? I actually missed that. I do apologise, but yeah, Limitless down the inside. There's a bit of contact. Was it slightly? No, it wasn't. He pushed him out wide. Still side by side. Contact between the two. But both of them with DRS. Who can actually get the best run going through towards turn 2? Looks like Limitless on the outside. Will he be able to keep it towards the outside? He's still there going around the outside in the Red Bull. No, he thinks better of it. Still side by side. Will there be any contact? No, there isn't. He gets pushed wide side of the McLaren. But it looks like Limitless in the Red Bull can actually get this move through. Side by side. And he gets it. Limitless, great move going through in towards turn 4 now, up into P6, and the Red Bull of Limitless, somebody who of course like we said had a terrible qualifying session, is really now looking to improve it in the race, and a great battle there with Jamie, who seems to have made a mistake going through the final corner, and that's gifted Limitless that position. A good battle between the two, and Limitless can now go ahead and try to get past Carl now in the Haas, and it looks like Mango as well as one of the piece of this action. If Jamie makes a mistake, as Mango goes very wide there in the Red Bull, just like he did a few laps prior. Hopefully for his sake he doesn't get any penalties, but Jamie looks like he's made a mistake, and that's cost him a position to Limitless. Let's see what Limitless can do now, going through the final corner. Great to see some overtaking action and some battling between the drivers. At the moment, looks to me like, again, status quo back at the front. No driver really seems to be getting close enough to overtake going towards turn 1, but yeah, Jamie will be ruining that mistake. Seems to have a bit more pace in Limitless as well, so maybe himself will actually try and get a move back past that of James and Larudi. Another 5-second penalty spinning in the pit lane. Will that mean a retirement? Yes, it does. Almost half the drivers are actually out of the race now from retiring from the session. Not what you like to see, but unfortunately this stuff does happen sometimes. You actually get a faster lap there from Kingsman, 18.1 in the Williams. So he put a fresh set of medium tyres on 3 laps ago. Great lap time from himself. Very short front. Tauri. Like I say, really was controlling the pace at the front. 5 tenths clear now. Sayer who left the session. Kingsman there in the Williams in P12. Still moving through. Was the yellow flag there for a second, but I believe it was somebody retiring from the session. At the moment, like I say, yeah, Jamie just seems to fall back slightly as well. See the drivers towards the front are doing. Can Volcano get any kind of attack on Gatkowski? Got 98 ERS, so sure he'll start using some of it now. Doesn't want to use any of it potentially, I'm not sure why, but he just doesn't want to get any overtakes done. Looks at the moment like they're all saving it for maybe in a few laps time when they get some overtakes done in the pit lane, or when they get the in-laps for the tyres. Gatkowski as well, and of course Selly, just not looking to use their ERS, very surprising. Limitless, pushing through now in P6. What can he do the rest of this race? Not a half race distance yet, so we've still got a lot that can be said and a lot that can be done in this race, and hopefully we can have some good overtakes, good battles happening as well. Selly through now into the middle sector. It must be said, unfortunately, it's not the most exciting race at the moment. Let's hope for our sake that this gets better and better as the race goes on, when we get some strategy calls, when we get some people pitting, and of course seeing they can do. The field now really bunching up as well as we go towards the final corner once again to start lap 15 of this Hungarian Grand Prix here. Round number 5 of the season. Let's see what can be done now. So we're seeing Gatkowski starting to use his overtake, but only slightly. Volcano, we've even used, no he doesn't. Neither does Cucumber. And neither does Carl. But Limitless starting to use his now. He's starting to actually try and get more lap time from that. You see another 5 seconds time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. For Stefano, that's not what he's going to want to see. As he goes into the pit lane now, let's see what tyres he puts on. Surely the hard tyres. Yes, it is. What type of pit stop is it? It's a quick stop from the Haas boys. But a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane is not something that he's going to want to see. Going through now, still no drivers able get any overtakes done, which is a shame really. Maybe no drivers willing to get some overtakes done at the moment. But look at them all. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, separated by 3 seconds. All 8 of those drivers can win this Grand Prix. See of course what Cucumber can do as well. 14 laps on those hard tyres. He's still a massive threat in this race. And he's going to be on the faster tyres going through the final few laps of the race on the mediums, or maybe he's going to push it and try and go for some softs, but surely it'll be mediums that he goes for. Is anybody going to try and pit? Yes, it is. Selly into the pit lane. He doesn't want to get undercutted by anyone. He's straight into the pit lane, surely to go onto softer tyres, harder tyres. But let's see now what's going to happen. Yes, instantly see Gatkowski. Of course, we see Volcano. See everybody start to really use the ERS to get a good in-lap now to try and get that that overcut on that of Selly. But Selly, of course, the undercut is massive in this game, so surely he's going to come out ahead. We see Jamie as well, puts the hard tyres on, big undercut in this game. Surely this could mean Jamie will be thrown back into contention in this race, and hopefully for their sake it's going to be a good few racing laps for them. Let's see though, Gatkowski, he's really pushing now, really starting to push on these tyres and really see if he can get through as he starts to put some good lap times in now. People really starting to use this ERS, really starting to push the faster lap times. Limitless catching up to Carl as well. Let's see if everybody pops into the pits this lap. Problem for the Red Bull team as well. Drivers will be stacking if they both pit, so if Limitless comes in, of course, Mango will have to start another lap and lose more time. But there's nothing he can do about that. As Selly going through the end of the first sector now, he's going to want to put as much pressure on these guys as possible to get a good in-lap. He's pushing as hard as he can on those hard tyres, using some of his ERS, as is Jamie as well. Really interested to see who's going to come out in front of each other here, going through as the lap times start to fall and the pit lane window starts to open. The Mercedes into the pits. Surely, yes he is, as is the Aston Martin. NSX Cucumber stays out. Carl stays out as well. But Limitless stays out as well. Red Bull of Mango into the pit. So this is the moment. This is, let's see if we can get any undercuts, overcuts, any type of strategy happening in this race. Let's see now as we see Selly going around the final corner. Surely he's going to get out ahead of these drivers. We see the Mercedes going through now towards the end of the pit lane. It's going to be very close between the three of them as we see actually Selly goes through. Yes it is, the Mercedes there coming out of the pit lane now as well. Jamie, can he get through? Yes he is. He looks like he's going to get side by side through the Aston Martin. Yes he is. And that was Volcano, so potentially Jamie's now up into P3, netting the race. Great call from himself, pitting one lap earlier, and that's meant the McLaren is now attacking Gatkowski in that Mercedes, but he's got ahead of Volcano in that Aston Martin, and Gatkowski, as he gets the tyres up to temperature, he's going to want to be really defending from Jamie, because Jamie now, brilliant move getting into that pit. Even though he made that mistake, he's gone into the pits a lap before, and that's meant that he's got that position on Volcano, and surely Limitless as well, who he lost the position to. So let's see now as we see Jamie really starting to hustle the gearbox of Gatkowski. Gatkowski's tyres are going to be so cold compared to Jamie's now, so the McLaren is really going to want to make sure to use this whilst he can. Carl at the front as well. Cucumber staying out a few more laps, of course, on the hard tyres. Let's see what Carl does. Surely he's going to peel off into the pit lane, which I believe he does, as does Limitless as well in the Red Bull. Let's see what they... No, Limitless stays on, as does Carl, maybe looking for a safety car or just going for soft tyres towards the end of the race. That potentially could be an option for them. Maybe they've got to that now. Gatkowski, though, he's really under pressure now from Jamie, and he's going to want to see if Jamie can overtake. There's no DRS for Gatkowski now. He's too far behind Selly. Selly sets the fastest lap, 17.4. Let's see now. Gatkowski and Jamie. Jamie surely going to be using this one with DRS. No, he doesn't actually. He doesn't decide to get that overtake done. Very surprising, it must be said, as he almost hits him under the brakes. But Gatkowski in that Mercedes, he's used his ERS to perfection to make sure he sticks in front of Jamie in that McLaren. But Jamie overtakes Volcano in the pit lane, in the pit strategy, should I say. And that's a great job from him and the pit crew. So let's see what the drivers at the front are doing. As Selly in the net race lead now, if they pit, he'd be miles ahead. So it looks like it's going to be an easy one for Selly, unless a safety car comes out right about now, which would really help those guys. Obviously at the front of the field, Limitless, Carl and Cucumber. At the moment, Cucumber, of course, is on the hard tyres, looking to extend this stint as much as possible. Carl as well, and of course Limitless on those medium tyres, seem to really want to extend this stint. Who knows, maybe they're going for an alternative stint, trying to go on softs at the end. It looks like maybe that's what Cucumber would do. Limitless still not pitting, Carl still not pitting. They really don't want to get into this pit lane, and they do not want to see anything like that. Volcano now back onto that of Jamie. Let's see if he can get that position back that he lost in the pit strategy. Gets in the DRS. He's used a little bit of his ERS, of course, to catch up on that in-lap, and of course he's using it now, only a slight amount though. Jamie and Gatkowski are really getting to that point now where I think they might be stuck in that DRS train once more. Let's see if Gatkowski can close that 3-second gap to Selly, which has really been a brilliant call for himself to get one lap earlier onto those hard tyres. It's meant that himself, as we actually see an overtake going towards turn 1, NSX Spine goes through on the inside of Kingsman. Great overtake from him, it seems, in the AlphaTauri, the sister AlphaTauri of the championship contender. Going through to turn 2 now, Stefano as well, really causing a little bit of a roadblock now for Spine on those fresher medium tyres. Let's see if any overtakes will be done throughout the lap, but at the moment, to me, it seems, as he almost pushes him through turn 4 there, it seems to me like Spine will get him going through the next main straight the next time on lap 20, going towards lap turn 1. So NSX Cucumber in the Alpine goes in towards the pit lane on the hard tyres. He's going to want to get their mediums on and see what he can do. And Carl and Limitless, as he comes into the pit as well, but Carl's still going on those medium tyres. Let's see what tyres Limitless puts on. He's putting on the hard tyres. Selly bolts through, and look at that, he's already ahead of Limitless, so Limitless is going to be very far behind. Cucumber as well, he's on the medium tyres, so that's going to be someone to look out for, see what lap times he can put in the Alpine. But the undercut is so strong here at Hungary. Look at the drivers now, they're honestly going to be under contention. If they're losing a position to Lezard going through turn 1, thankfully for themselves, they're not going to get overtaken by Lezard in the Alfa Romeo. But Limitless and Cucumber far behind. Let's see what they can do on the fresher tyres now. 3-lap fresher tyres from that of everyone else. But Limitless lost a few positions in that, of course, down to P8 now. As Selly, the only driver ahead of him now, is Carl. who is yet to pit. Looking at the position changes as well. Carl, of course, in P1 at the moment. Mango up by 4 positions, and Limitless up by 4 as well. So good rides so far from them. It looks to me like Selly has this one. NSX Selly under control, who really looking at this as well. He's got no ERS left, so he's really pushing away now, trying to get ahead of these guys. It seems to me like with him not having any ERS left, unless he's going for a fastest lap attempt here, Jatkowski, if he uses his ERS accordingly, he could really start to pull in that of NSX Selly in the AlphaTauri. Let's see what he does as he comes across the line now. Does he get a fastest lap for it? No, he doesn't, so he really just doesn't have the ERS left. He's a worry for himself. No, like Jatkowski 2.6 seconds behind. Maybe that gap could come down. Maybe see a bit of a battle for the victory. We'll see another overtake there again. NSX Spine going through on the inside of Lezard like we predicted, going through towards turn 1. The AlphaTauri through. And it looks like a good overtake from Spine there on the medium tyres through on Lezard on the 7-lap old hard tyres already. There's a 3-second time penalty for Volcano, multiple warnings. That's going to be something that he's not going to want to see. One of the drivers who is in contention for the win today, that could drop him so far down. Let's see if he takes some more risks now to get towards the front and try and pull away. But a 3-second time penalty for Volcano, that is not what he's going to want to see. As Carl's still out in the lead, hoping for a safety car surely. But at the moment, he's going to plummet down the field as soon as he pits. But surely with that said, he's going to try and put on some softer tyres, onto the soft set of tyres, and really try and pull through now. Is he going to the pit lane? Yes, he does. Finally into the pit lane now. As we get a Let's Go Mango in the comment section. Yes, Mango, of course, in P6. As Lez had a 3-second time penalty as well for multiple warnings. But Mango in P6 there. Surely with him being 1.8 seconds behind as well, he's going to get ahead of Volcano, of course, with that time penalty. Let's see what Volcano can do actually onto the back as Cucumber takes a fastest lap instantly on those medium tyres. He's going to be a driver to watch now. You'll see Carl, yes, going onto the soft tyres. Let's see what he can do as well. Limitless goes through. And of course, one of the other drivers as well of Spine in the AlphaTauri. A yellow flag. Is there someone retiring in the pit lane? Possibly. Yes, there is. It is of Lezard in the pit lane. But at the moment, Jamie, P3 in the McLaren through. You see Jatkowski in P2, 2.5 seconds. Actually brought a bit of time back on Selly. So the race is not over for the victory yet. One mistake from Selly, one penalty. And this race could be swinging to one of the other drivers. See what Limitless is doing at the moment as well. The championship leader really just consolidating his position in P7. It's just not been the race for himself at the moment. He didn't really make the right strategy call going onto those hards so late, and it's meant he's not been able to pull the guys in. Although with that said, of course, we still have 13 more laps to run in this race. We've got 11 runners, 11 riders in the race at the moment. It looks to me, as we see, look at that already, NSX Cucumber right on the back of Mango. And he's going to want to get rid of him as quickly as possible and push towards the guys ahead of him. So let's see, he's using the overtake. Yes, he does. It doesn't look like Mango's going to try and defend it as much. No, he doesn't. It's an easy overtake in the end for the Alpine of Cucumber. But it's a good move down the inside, a good clean move. And he is now on the warpath going towards that of Volcano with the 3-second time penalty. As Rudy has left the session in the Williams. But NSX Cucumber, he can sniff P2, almost sniff a victory. Selly almost there, up the road, about 10 seconds or so clear. As we see Carl down the inside as well. Actually side-by-side action with Spike. Has he been able to get through? Yes, he has. Great move from him. And those soft tyres really doing a brilliant job for Carl. Surely he'll get a fast lap of the race as well unless another driver pits. Purple first sector already. But it's looking like Cucumber is the man to watch at the moment. Already pushing towards to get to the back of Volcano. As Jatkowski is really just a roadblock in the road at the moment, it seems. Just keeping that distance to Selly. Gains a 10th on him or so, but not really cruising towards him. So let's see what can be done from the other drivers at the moment. We see Cucumber once again pushing and pushing and pushing and getting closer to the drivers. Of course, holds the fastest lap at the moment, but that surely will be crushed by Carl in the Haas in a few laps' time when he gets up to speed. But at the moment, we see Cucumber closing in every single corner, 1.2 seconds, 1.1 seconds, almost within DRS that lap as well. Let's see if Volcano tries to get an overtake there. Getting towards turn 1 now. Looks like the Aston Martin. Will he try and make a move down the inside? Yes, he is. Is he going to go for it? Yes, he is down the inside. Could there be a bit of contact? No. He goes down the inside. It looks like it's a good, clean move. Side by side. I think he caught Jamie a bit unawares there, but Jamie gets the better exit in the McLaren and instantly back up into P3. Volcano kind of half-heartedly chucked it down the inside and Jamie gave him the space that he deserved. But at the moment, Jamie keeps it ahead of Volcano in P3. Of course, Volcano's going to want to get this overtake done and dusted with Cucumber in the background lurking as well. He's not going to be any battles whilst he's got a 3-second time penalty. So Volcano at the moment really starting to push now and try and get ahead of Jamie. This is giving Gatkowski a bit of breathing space, who's now starting to close up on Selly ever so slightly with 11 laps to go. Selly still with only 6% ERS left. He really doesn't have the ability to defend going through this race. So let's see if there's a great crescendo to the end of the race like there was last time out in Jeddah with that final corner overtake from TRL Limitless. But at the moment, like I say, Gatkowski slowly but surely closing in on Selly for the race lead. Jamie as well as Volcano. But because of that, looking at Cucumber now in the Alpine, he's right on the back of Volcano now, and he's going to want to use as much ERS as possible to get this Aston Martin out of the way as quickly as possible. He's almost pushing him through the final corner. We're riding on board now. He hasn't seemingly got the straight line speed. He's using his overtake button, but it could be a dive down the inside for him now. Maybe a dive down the inside for the Aston Martin as well. No, he goes towards the outside. Side by side, almost a bit of contact. The McLaren of Jamie as well, getting a tank slapper going out towards the end of turn 1. What can he be done now? Going through towards turn 2, around the outside possibly, on the curb. Can he go around the outside? He gets boxed in the Aston Martin, possibly around the outside. Yes, a fantastic move through into P4 for Cucumber. Incredible move around the outside of Volcano. And now he is on the back of Jamie towards P3. And that is the move that we wanted to see around the outside. Incredible in turn 2. And that is a move that you see so many times in real life, so similarly recreated in sim racing. And that was an incredible move by Cucumber on the warpath now, right behind Jamie, as 1.9 seconds now separates first and second place. Cucumber is in a brilliant position now if his tyres hold on to really push ahead and get towards Selly, who of course has no ERS left. But look at him at the moment, Cucumber absolutely flying in that Alpine, as is Carl as well. Carl trying to get onto the back of Mango. Limitless as well in a bit of no man's land there in P8, the championship leader. But at the moment, Selly will crush that as Kingsman, once again, another 3-second time penalty. Once again, going towards the final corner now. We see Cucumber almost pushing the cars through the corners like he did the lap before. Surely it's going to be an easy overtake for himself. He comes out of the slipstream. A bit of defending there going from Jamie. Goes right towards the inside. Jamie's not going to give this up easily. Around the outside, he's going to have to be for Cucumber. Yes, it is around the outside. Can he brake late enough around the outside? Yes, he can, but Jamie also brakes late onto the marbles. Not got any ERS left. And looking at this now, side-by-side action going through towards turn 2. Can he go down the inside? Yes, he does. Can he consolidate the move as well? Yes, he does. And Cucumber, brilliant move once more. Nice, clean racing like we always like to see. And he's up into P3. A fantastic move from himself. And now, the Alpine on the warpath to get towards Gatkowski in that Mercedes. And then one more position towards Selly in P1. This race is looking like a great end. So don't leave us now, because the last 10 laps of this race are going to be spellbinding. Through now as we see Cucumber already on the back of Gatkowski. Incredible from him. He is not waiting for anyone. The alternate strategy really seems to be working for him at the moment. Is he going to go through towards the inside? No, he doesn't. It almost looks like Gatkowski. You see a move actually from Carl. Limitless Mango. Has Mango gone off? I believe he actually did. Mango might have gone off there. Yes, he does. And he locks up going through there. And it's a terrible mistake from Mango. It's actually put Limitless ahead of him and Carl ahead of him as well. But at the moment, we want to focus, of course, on Cucumber and Gatkowski. And looking at this, it's going to be like taking candy from a baby. Because looking at that, straight through down the inside, Gatkowski understands this isn't his battle now. It's Cucumber versus, as you see in the background as well, the Aston Martin getting through on the inside. Yes, it is a Volcano on Jamie. Jamie knows that Volcano does have a time penalty, so he doesn't need to fight it enough. But great fighting up and down the field now as we get towards the end of this race. And it looks like Carl as well is really going to start to push, trying onto the back of Jamie as they start to battle up front. But Cucumber already closed that gap to more than Gatkowski ever could up front. 1.7 seconds, only a tenth down in his best lap time. Selly is going to be very nervous in that Alpha Tauri. He's going to want the race victory, but of course he's going to want to get as much points as possible towards his championship tally. Cucumber at the moment looks like the man who is going to be the best opportunity to win this race. So let's see now what can be done. Cucumber, of course, the man in P3 in the championship, not got a race win yet this season, but has got a second place and a third place. Let's see if he can add the Hungarian Grand Prix to his podium list and to his win list here. at the moment in Flashpoint Racing League, because it looks to me at the moment like Cucumber is closing as the seconds go by. Looks like he's going to get the win, surely, at the moment, as he's already broken DRS to Gatkowski. Volcano and Jamie as well. Got a bit of battling going on too there. 1.7 seconds second rates Carl from Jamie as well. Always closing as well. Limitless has a 1.3 second gap, 1.6 seconds gap to his teammate Mango. But Cucumber once again 1.3 seconds behind Selly. As the gap starts to go up there, potentially a bit of drop off on the tyres of Cucumber, which is very, very high chance in happening. Of course, there was going to be a time where Cucumber's tyres were better than everyone else's. Now it seems potentially as we've got to that point of the race now where Cucumber's tyres aren't at the best of conditions that they were. 5/10 down in his best lap through sector 1, so potentially going through now, will we be able to see him close the gap on Selly? It could happen. But no, let's not forget his tyres are constantly screaming as we saw him get a bit of a tank slap out the top part of that chicane. In the middle part of the lap, it doesn't seem like he's actually closing much on Selly anymore. Let's see what can be done as he actually runs out of ERS, as does Selly. Gatkowski now starting to close back up once more towards Cucumber. But at the moment, Selly seems to be managing that gap, managing the pace at the front. As we're about to start lap 29, 1.1 seconds. As Carl, 3 second time penalty, that's not what he's going to want to see. Now he's going to have to try and get past these guys in the soft tyres, because otherwise he's not going to get any points from this race. Or any good points, it must be said. Cucumber now 1 second behind Selly, almost within DRS range. He's going to want to use these mediums and get ahead whilst he can, because those tyres are going to drop off into the DRS zone now. He doesn't get it this lap because the detection point, of course, is before the final corner, but he's almost within DRS now. Is NSX Cucumber in the Alpine, and it's going to be a close finish to this race. He's gunning for his first victory of the season, gunning to get towards the championship lead. If Selly wins this race, of course, he will be the championship leader and will be ahead of TRL Limitless. Also as well, Limitless will just be ahead of Cucumber, so let's see if Cucumber can get that race victory. Almost within DRS now. He's going to want to be within that 1 second mark going through the final section of the lap to get that DRS, which of course is massive on this game and massive in this race for Cucumber. See a bit of battling, of course, in the background as well. Volcano, Jamie and Carl as well starting to get really close, but this is the battle we're really focused on. Let's see if he can get within that DRS. He's at 8/10 ahead now. Surely he's going to be within DRS going through the second to last corner now, unless he makes a mistake. 7/10 of a second, 8/10 of a second. Yes, he is within DRS, and that means he's going to be closing in all the time, closing in. And there's a bit of a weave going on there for Selly, because he knows he's going to be under the caution in a minute from Cucumber, closing all the time. Doesn't look like it's going to be this lap. No, it doesn't. I think he's a bit too far back. Looking at the guys in the background as well, doesn't seem to be at the moment like they're going to be making any overtakes as Jamie closes up ever so slightly. But yes, Cucumber still behind. Let's see what Jamie can do. Can he get up the back of Volcano in the Aston Martin? No, he can't at the moment. Carl, he's put soft tyres on, just seems to be a bit of no man's land at the moment. Can't quite use those soft tyres to his advantage. Of course, with that 3 second time point as well, he really wanted to pull that gap to Limitless, who again is 2.6 seconds behind, really running a race of his own now in that Red Bull. And his teammate of Mango, who did make a mistake in P8 as well, Spine in P9, and of course Stefano rounding out the points positions. Kingsman closing in on him, but doesn't seem to be getting there in the time. And looking at the moment now, Selly only 3/10 ahead of NSX Cucumber. Surely this is it. Surely this is the moment. We're going to see the overtake going through into the first corner of lap 31. The Alpha Tauri of Selly seems to be doing everything right, seems to have the strategy on point, but Cucumber did his research, got the medium tyres on, and the alternate strategy seems to be working brilliantly for Cucumber at the moment. So let's see now going through the final corner. Will we see much defence from Selly, who's got a little bit of ERS to play with, but of course Cucumber has got that DRS. Let's see what can be done now going towards turn 1. Will Selly even close the line? Doesn't look like he will do at the moment. No, he actually lets Cucumber through. I think he understands actually that this isn't his race, but it's a great move down the inside. Will he try and keep around the outside? No, he doesn't. He understands this isn't his race. And Cucumber, a brilliant move into turn 1. And the Alpine driver, who didn't quite get pole position but was so close, didn't have the best start, used the hard tyres to his advantage, extended his stint, is up into P1. A great race so far from him. Let's see if he can continue it now and keep it through to get his first victory of the season, as we see the Haas of Carl still not able to get past Jamie. The McLaren there, and Volcano with no ERS, really just a bit of a roadblock for these guys as well now. So it looks at the moment like Jamie really wants to get ahead and past guys. NSX Cucumber leads. Going towards lap number 32 now. Let's see if he can extend that gap. I mean, at the moment, it doesn't seem like he is doing. Maybe Selly's playing a bit of a game here, because like I said, the medium tyres will, of course, drop off. So let's see if Selly can push onto the back of Cucumber, use that DRS to his advantage, keep nice and tight to him, keep nice and close, and potentially get an overtake with 1 lap to go. Use that DRS. I don't think he'll try and go for the overtake this lap. You see Cucumber not using any ERS as well, and it doesn't seem like he is doing at the moment. He's just biding his time. Let's see if the Haas behind goes for a move. Yes, he does almost. No, he doesn't. He keeps it behind. And McLaren chinking towards the inside, not wanting to give any space or any gap to the drivers in front. It seems at the moment with Cucumber, he's just going to be the one who pushes clear, potentially pushes clean through this race. With Selly right behind, only 5 tenths behind, not really being left for dead. Potentially he could put a move on for the victory going through the last lap. Let's see. A few laps to go now, starting 33rd lap at the end of this one. Selly in the AlphaTauri, losing a little bit of time this lap to the Alpine of NSX Cucumber. So at the moment it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to get that move done like we potentially thought. But Gatkowski still got 2 seconds to catch Selly. Doesn't seem like he's going to be able to do that at the moment. But Volcano as well, still got DRS, as does Jamie and of course Carl in the Haas. Limitless as well, not really making much of a difference with the rest of the race going by. But at the moment it looks like Selly, who closed slightly of course with the DRS assistance there, is the only driver who can actually snatch that win back off of Cucumber, who snatched it from himself a few laps prior. 2 more laps to go after this one, and at the moment it looks like Cucumber to me has got this under control, got more ERS of course, got the softer tyres, softer rubber. Carl as well, not able to do much with his soft tyres, and they surely will be going off him at the moment. TRL Limitless only 2.4 seconds behind that of Carl, so he's going to gain a few more points in P6 if the race was to finish this way. At the moment as well, Volcano and Jamie not really working in unison here, because Volcano of course with that 3-second time penalty. Jamie of course overtook him in the stops but then lost the position to Volcano. So Jamie, yes of course he will get the position back, but almost a potentially lost podium for himself, with Gatkowski in P3 not really getting challenged much. Let's see what Selly can do here. Surely he can't quite get down the inside or anything like that. No, I don't think he will do as we go towards turn 1. Opens his DRS now for the second to last time here at the Hungaroring. 2 more laps to go. Last part of the race was much more exciting than the start, it must be said, and thankfully we did have a battle for the victory. But it looks at the moment NSX Cucumber is on track to take his first win of the season, with NSX Selly in second place taking the championship lead. Gatkowski in P3, who was everyone's favourite really going into this race at the moment. He's in P3, still a solid position for himself. Volcano in P4, but he will lose positions to Jamie at the moment, because of course with that penalty, but with Carl picking up a penalty there in the Haas, he won't actually lose any more positions than the 1 and get a P5 finish, so not the worst thing in the world for him. But at the moment, let's see what Selly can do as we go through the middle part of the lap now. If this is the moment to do it, it is now. 1 lap to go after this one, and it's going to be all or nothing for Selly. But it looks to me at the moment like NSX Cucumber, with more ERS, with more energy to deploy, has the measure of Selly, who has no ERS to play with. But going through the final sector now, with the second to last lap, Selly's going to want to do everything he can to set this up if he wants to go for that race victory. But it looks to me at the moment that he's going to settle for that second place, which would have been a good position for him going to the start of the race, of course. If he sees a championship rival of Limitless in P7, he's going to be more than happy with that, of course. But with that said, NSX Cucumber is going to start the final lap, and he is going to throw himself right into this championship fight now with his first victory of the season. As we see Williams coming out the pits, but it looks to me like Selly cannot get through with that DRS. He just doesn't have the deployment, doesn't have the things to do it with. Let's see what Jamie can do. Can he get down the inside of the Volcano? No, he can. He's got no ERS left as well. Carl has really dropped off the pace now as well. Limitless closing on him, but he's just too far away at the moment. He's not able to really push through on that. It looks at the moment it's status quo for everyone. Jamie potentially could put a move on Volcano, but with that said, why would he? Of course, because he does have that 3 second time penalty, so he won't make any mistakes there. He won't try and push it down the inside. No, he doesn't. But it looks to me like Cucumber, the man who just missed out on pole position, just missed out on a few race victories, is all going to come good now for him. As NLR Mango, 3 second time penalty, that's not what he needed, but he won't lose any positions for that with Spine 4.7 seconds behind him. But at the moment, looking at Cucumber, looking at this is the drive of somebody who really wants to push himself into a championship battle. This is a drive of somebody who really has the potential to put on a championship charge. Cucumber, as he comes around the second to last corner now, he didn't quite get pole position. He wouldn't have been happy with that. He didn't go out and get the race win in the first 4 races, but he has thrown himself back into championship contention now. Cucumber, round the final corner, wins the race in Hungary. A great win for himself. Brilliant driving all round, and surely the first of many wins this season for NSX Cucumber as Selly comes across the line. Gatkowski rounds out the podium in P3, and with the penalties applied, Jamie finishes P4 with Volcano P5. Limitless really damage limitation in P6. As Cal comes across the line in P7, NSX Spine in P8, and Mango rounds out in P9 with Stefano, who didn't finish, in P10, rounding out the points. But it's a great result for NSX Cucumber. First position, first race win of the season, and that pushes him into championship contention here in Flashpoint. And with that said, that's going to mean Cucumber is on 78 points now, and he's really thrown himself in there. Of course, Selly will be leading the championship, I believe, on 91 points. But at the moment, with 78 points to 91, he's going to want another good result next week out to get himself back into that limitless. Like I say, really just trying to get as much limitation to his damage championship lead as possible. He's still a P2 in the championship, over 80 points for himself now, but Selly has a bit of a gap at the top. But if I was you guys, I'd still watch the rest of this season as we see the top 3 celebrating. 5 races, 3 different winners, 3 drivers really pushing for championship contention. And if I was you, I would not go anywhere, because this season can only get better and better. Like I say, it's been me, Oxide Nova. Thank you so much for listening to this stream. Like I say, the rest of the season is going to be absolutely incredible. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back next Wednesday for Tier 1 at 7 PM UK time. And we'll see you there. Thank you for watching. Let's have another great end to the season.